Hello and welcome to MindShifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour, and today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and accessible tools I've ever encountered. These tools are available absolutely free through the tireless efforts of Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce on the website at whyagain.org. If you go to that website and click on the two words that say Start Here in the upper left-hand corner, it will take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Ryce's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that chapter of the book contains a narrative description and explanation of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet. And it's a tool I've been using to great effect for over 21 years now to improve the quality of my life and most of my relationships, and to turn any negative emotional experience I have into part of the infallible guidance system that each and every one of us has been given. You can also download the actual worksheet process itself. It's a simple PDF file. Click the link, download it, print it off, copy it as often as you'd like, and use it over and over again, absolutely free. You can also download from that same web page a whole host of audio files of shows just like this one where people can step through the worksheet process. And if you choose to listen to them even repeatedly, they can serve as a powerful tutorial for you to help you get maximum benefit from these tools in the shortest amount of time possible. You can also go to your App Store and type in the three words HeartLand Aramaic Forgiveness. And if you choose to do that before you're done typing the word forgiveness, you'll see the glowing heart icon. If you tap on that, it will let you download a completely free and private app. The app contains the Reality Management Worksheet. It contains an abbreviated version of that worksheet process, and it contains a copy of the Dragon Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. We hope people do all of that soon and often, primarily because it tends to improve the quality of people's lives the more they actively apply these tools in their lives. And secondarily, because it tends to prompt comments, questions, answers, and testimonials. If you have any of those to share with us, we would appreciate if you do so. You can email me at tjh@mindshifters-academy.org. or you can email Jeanie at jeanie@whyagain.org. That's whyagain.org. And if we get a question or a comment from you through an email, we'll address it on the Internet show, and then as time allows, send you a notification about what day and time that occurred, so you can listen back to the archives for your feedback or input. And we greatly appreciate whenever anybody chooses to do that, because it makes it infinitely easier for us to live into our intention with this work, and that is to be of service. The other option is, if you're available, most weekdays we're live from 11 to noon Central Time, and you can go to zoom.us and enter the meeting ID number for this first hour, which is 853-2357-4173, or something like that. I think I just did it by memory and got it right. 853-2357-4173. If you join through the phone, you'll be automatically muted, and you can use *6 to toggle in and out of mute as you're on the show. So please feel free to unmute and speak up. As I like to say, even if I seem to be in the middle of reading something or on a roll in a monologue, we appreciate all contributions, and every question is valid. And even though there are some people who've been hanging around the Internet show almost from the beginning, there aren't very few people except Michael and Jeanie and I these days who are on that started with it back in 2011. However, a lot of people have been tapping into the Internet shows and the support groups for a lot of years, and yet everybody who's listening benefits when brand new people come in and ask questions, because there's no such thing as reviewing this too many times. So if there's something we can do to support you, even if you're brand new to this, please unmute and speak up. It's been a while since I said this, but we like to present in line with one of my favorite lines from Guy Finley. Guy Finley says, "There is nothing more practical than true spirituality." So in our work here, regardless of what book we might be reading or discussing, our goal is to introduce ourselves to and then familiarize ourselves with the most practical tools possibly available to us to improve the quality of our life experience. And in this work, a lot of that is done by understanding and then practicing the dynamic between the thoughts I choose to focus my mind energy on and the emotions and physical sensations that result from that. And in general, just this continual renewal of the approach that says, let me shift the focus of my energy over to something I have control of in any given moment. And let me be living more and more each day in this state of observation, active observation, as highly preferential to the living by dogma or belief or from ritual. If I'm wide awake and my eyes are open and I'm not having my vision distorted by intense emotions, I'll make better decisions and I'll be happier with the consequences of those decisions. So, we're here at the beginning of another hour. We have plenty of time for comments and questions. Please feel free to unmute and speak up. Is that Sarah?
Yes, hi.
Welcome.
I just wanted to say thank you for that wonderful worksheet session yesterday. I felt I felt very soothed, and I kind of just was percolating on it throughout the day periodically. And I was like, well, why has that come up? It's been almost 10 months. And what I've realized that I've been doing in kind of my daily practice is I've been doing a lot of detoxing of like my drinking more water, taking, my vitamins, making sure I'm eating mindfully, and also going to the sauna. And I put on the older replays while I'm in the sauna. I just roll my phone up in a towel so it doesn't get too hot. And I realized that when I'm in the sauna, like so much is kind of just purging and releasing. And so I kind of realized that, you know what, maybe my body, my physical body is trying to clear what's constricted in the cell, like in the actual.
Yeah, some of the energies that got downloaded and stuck.
Yeah. And so I was like, because the only thing that I've been really doing that's different is sauna 4 to 5 times a week, and drinking a lot more water. And last night I really Susan gave this great practice where she was talking about sending that love, just that holding the vibration and that feeling of love and directing it out. So before bed last night, I was just laying in bed and I was really kind of noticing how attached I was to the I, right? I was saying, I am this, I am that, in just kind of, I am strong, I am resilient. And yes, it was affirmation, but then something in the background was like, okay, let's just settle into the breath. And as I relaxed into the breath, I got, let's drop the I and just go am, am, am-ness, am-ness, isness, isness. And as I was repeating that with the falling away of the I, periodically I would just go into nothing, like no thought, nothing. And it was so soothing, and the breath settled to such a degree. It was like, it felt like I wasn't really breathing, but I knew I was, but it was so soft and so subtle. And then the thoughts kicked up again, and then I was like, okay, I'm back. So I think after that release kind of took me into a deeper layer and realized, Tim, I'm very poetic. I'm very, the I, right, is very poetic and very emotional. And that's part of the I that Sarah's come to be, right? And so I've come to really appreciate that I'm a little extra and in good ways, and I've come to accept that. And so the falling away of the I and just the breath and the am spontaneously came about after that big release. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, because wow, that felt good. Thank you.
Well, you're entirely welcome and deserving, as we like to say, and that process is available on the MindShiftersAcademy.org website under the page that says Educational Materials, and it's available as the verbal mental short release that we just did. It's also available with the forgiveness patter that I was reciting there, and then there's also an audio file of me just reciting the forgiveness pattern. So if a time comes when you want to have some support and no one else is around, you can pull up on your phone or your tablet and go to MindShiftersAcademy.org on the Educational Materials page. And I think it's the fourth link down that says,
I downloaded it already.
Forgiveness pattern.
Yeah, I downloaded it.
And just
I
sit there with your eyes
2 days
closed
ago.
and let it play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I wanted to share. Just a great appreciation and just that recognition that sometimes I do get in my emotions. And I'm sure you guys will come to get to know me that I am quite poetic. So it's more like the underlying tone. And sometimes it's hard for me to kind of put into words really what's going on in the interior. But I do try my best.
Good, good. Well, I'm glad you found it useful, and I hope that you find continued success if you choose to continue to apply the tools.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And thank you for being willing to share and the story and the processing. Anytime anybody shares their story and their processing, everyone benefits. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else we can support? All right, she's muted, so we're clear of that. Let's just have a minute to let people respond. If you were here yesterday and you clued into any of Sarah's processing, or you've got questions about your own processing, we did have a support group last night, and so we have plenty of time for conversation. And if people aren't going to speak up, I will return to the I'm hearing music. Anybody you know hearing music? We have technical difficulties. No. Okay, so Linda, you have unmuted. Welcome.
Yes. I have a thought for Sarah. I so appreciated what she talked about, dropping the I, and when her respiration got so soft. And I have been studying the way of Qigong, The Art and Science of Chinese Energy Healing by Kenneth S. Cohen. And he has a whole section on different kinds of Qigong breathing. And he has embryonic respiration, becoming again as a child. And I'll just read about 2 or 3 sentences. With practice, the breath can become so slight, so fine, that it seems to have stopped. The Chinese alchemist Jie Hong, 4th century AD, says that the sage can hold a down feather in front of the nostrils, and the feather does not move. This is a characteristic of the most advanced stage of Qigong breathing, a form of Dantian breathing known as embryonic respiration, Tai Chi, also translated fetal respiration. Now, the Tai Chi does not have a glottal stop between the A and I, so it might have a different meaning in Chinese than the Tai Chi form has. But I just thought I would just share that with you. It says the embryonic respiration refers to the time when the embryo or fetus is in the womb. And it goes on from there. It's just very interesting should Sarah or anyone be interested in that.
All right, thank you.
And that's what apparently happened to her. So that's just my sharing for this morning.
All right. Yeah, I've had meditations that go to that level of very shallow breathing, and I remember when it first started to happen to me, I would question because people, Michael Ryce included, will tell people, keep the breath moving, a full breath all the way down to the belly and up at the chest, and regardless of how often or how much I would remind myself or try to breathe deeper, what felt natural was just to relax, and I would either reach still points at a full conscious level, like Michael Ryce talks about in his still point breathing, or I would have what Sarah described, which is this really almost imperceptibly shallow breathing. And occasionally it'll stop, and occasionally there'll be a nice deep breath initiated. And when I've experienced it, it's just been this natural flow. It just comes and goes on its own. It's not something I create. So
yes, the Qigong has all different kinds of breathing techniques. And the impression I get is that a particular breathing technique is appropriate for one thing and another for another. Different activity levels, etc. I remember when my daughter was breathing, she liked to fold over like a little froggy, and I could see her breath. It was a full breath, and I could see her little back expand and contract, and with her little froggy legs out to the side, but I couldn't hear anything. It was so soft, and yet it moved as it wanted to move. So I thought I'd share that.
Thank you. Anything else for you today?
No, I'm complete at the moment. Thank you so much.
All right.
I may not be able to get to the support group tonight. I will do my best. We have two
I wouldn't
a full day in Eugene.
I wouldn't if I were you. Today is a Wednesday, so there won't be a support group until
that
tomorrow
wouldn't
night.
help. There'll be tomorrow night.
Yes,
tomorrow night is when we have our appointments. Thank you so much.
All right. Blessings.
Mm-hmm.
So, in lieu of anyone else raising a hand or unmuting, which we prefer, since I'm doing several things here, so I can't always see if somebody's raised a hand. So, at least in my hour, we prefer that you just unmute and speak up, and we'll work it out from there. But in lieu of anybody raising another question or asking for a comment about something, I will return to the reading we were doing from Krishnamurti's book, or a book that was edited. And it's a book of the transcripts of conversations that Krishnamurti had with people over the years when they would come to him for counsel. So, This next section is titled The Process of Hate. And the book reads, she was a teacher, or rather she had been one. She was affectionate and kindly, and this had almost become a routine. She said she had taught for over 25 years and had been happy in it. And although towards the end she had wanted to get away from the whole thing, she had stuck to it. Recently she'd begun to realize what was deeply buried in her nature. She had suddenly discovered it during one of the discussions, and it had really surprised and shocked her. It was there, and it wasn't a mere self-accusation, and as she looked back through the years, she could now see that it had always been there. She really hated it. It was not hatred of anyone in particular, but a feeling of general hate, a suppressed antagonism towards everyone and everything. When she first discovered it, she thought it was something very superficial, which could easily be thrown off. But as the days went by, she found that it wasn't just a mild affair, but this was a deep-rooted hatred which had been going on all her life. What shocked her was that she had always thought she was affectionate and kind. Love is a strange thing as long as thought is woven through it. As long as thought is woven through it, it is not love. When you think of someone you love, that person becomes this symbol of pleasant sensations, memories, images, etc. And that is not love. Thought is sensation, and sensation is not love. The very process of thinking is the denial of love. Love is the flame without the smoke of thought, without jealousy or antagonism or usage. All these things are things of the mind. As long as the heart is burdened with the things of the mind, there must be hate, for the mind is the seat of hate, of antagonism, of opposition, of conflict. And we're going to come back to that last statement again. As long as the heart is burdened with the things of the mind, there must be hate. For the mind is the seat of hate. It's the seat of antagonism, of opposition, and of conflict. Thought is reaction, acting again as you did before. And reaction is always, in one way or another, the source of enmity. Thought is opposition and hate. Thought is always in competition, always seeking an end and success. It's always seeking fulfillment in pleasure, and its frustration is hate. Conflict is thought caught in the opposites, and the synthesis of the opposites is still hate and antagonism. So she's there to talk to Krishnamurti, and she says, quote, "You see, I always thought I loved the children, and even when they grew up, they used to come to me for comfort when they were in trouble. I took it for granted that I loved them, especially those who were my favorites, away from the classroom. But now I see there's always been an undercurrent of hate, of deep-rooted antagonism. What am I to do with this discovery? You have no idea how appalled I am by it. And though you say we must not condemn, this discovery has been very salutary. So she knows that Krishnamurti's teaching is she shouldn't hate, and she shouldn't hate herself, and yet she has this energy of hate towards others, and then she hates that in herself. It's this self-referential cycle. So Krishnamurti asks, have you also discovered the process of hate? To see the cause, to know why you hate, is comparatively easy. But are you aware of the ways of hate? Do you observe it as you would a strange new animal? And she replies, well, it's all so new to me, and I have never watched the process of hate. Krishnamurti says, let us do so now and see what happens. Let us be passively watchful of hate as it unrolls itself. Don't be shocked. Don't condemn or find excuses. Simply passively watch it. Hate is a form of frustration. Is it not? Fulfillment and frustration always go together. Guy Finley talks about this extensively. He says, you cannot have this thought in your mind that you want something without already creating what you don't want. What you want is tied to what you don't want in your mind. And the same dynamic that Krishnamurti just puts out, Guy Finley might have learned this by reading Krishnamurti material way back when. Wanting and not wanting are tied together, and they're part of the same process, just like giving and receiving. Everything works in a flow in this energy system we call life. So Krishnamurti asks, what are you interested in? Not professionally as a teacher, but deep down. The woman replies, I always wanted to paint. And Krishnamurti asks, well, why haven't you? The woman replies, quote, my father used to insist that I should not do anything that didn't directly bring in money. He was a very aggressive man, and money was to him the end of all things. He never did a thing if there was no money in it, or if it didn't bring more prestige and power. More was his God, and we were all his children. Though I liked him, I was opposed to him in so many ways. The idea of the importance of money was deeply embedded in me. And I liked teaching, probably because it offered me an opportunity to be the boss. On my holidays, I used to paint, but it was most unsatisfactory. I wanted to give my life to it, and I actually only gave it a couple months a year. Finally, I stopped painting, but it was burning inwardly. I see now how it was breeding antagonism, close quotes. Krishnamurti asks, were you ever married? Do you have children of your own? The woman replies, quote, I fell in love with a married man, and we lived together secretly. I was furiously jealous of his wife and children, and I was scared to have babies, though I longed for them. All the natural things, the everyday companionship and so on, all these things were denied me. And jealousy was a consuming fury. He had to move to another town, and my jealousy never abated. It was an unbearable thing. To forget it all, I took to teaching more intensely. And now, as I look at it, I see that I'm still jealous. Not of him, for he is dead, but I'm jealous of happy people. I'm jealous of married people. I'm jealous of the successful people of almost any kind of success. I keep thinking about what we could have been together and how it was denied to us, close quotes. So Krishnamurti replies with, jealousy is hate, is it not? If one loves, there is no room for anything else. But we do not love. The smoke chokes our life, and the flame dies. The woman replies, quote, I can see now that in school with my married sisters and in almost all my relationships, there was war going on, only it was covered up. I was becoming the ideal teacher. To become the ideal teacher was my goal, and I was being recognized as such. Krishnamurti replies, the stronger the ideal, the deeper the suppression. Boy, I knew. So I read this stuff that I haven't read probably since the 90s. I started reading his work in the early 80s. And I read a line like this and I go, oh, that's where I got that thing. That's where I built this observation. So here's the line. The stronger the ideal, the deeper the suppression, and the deeper the conflict and the antagonism. And when Krishnamurti says something like the stronger the ideal, he's really clear about what words he's using. And so it doesn't matter what your ideal is, the more you pour your mind energy into it, this is what I believe and I'm for this, and whether it's a belief about a religion or about politics or about science, the more you pour your mind energy into an ideal or a belief, same meaning here with those two words, the more strongly you suppress the truth of what's inside of you. The woman replies, quote, yes, I see all that now, and strangely, as I watch, I don't mind being what I actually am. So this is pretty quick. This is pretty quick turnaround for this woman. Just a few sentences ago, a couple paragraphs ago, she was talking about how she hates. And she's full of hate, and she's hate of others, and she's hatred for herself in the process of hating. And now, just a little bit later, with a couple little questions and a couple clear statements from Krishnamurti, she's slowing down and turning inside, and she recognizes, yes, I see this, and strangely, because this wasn't the case 15 or 20 minutes ago, strangely right now, I don't mind looking at and being what I actually am. Krishnamurti replies with, you don't mind it because there is a kind of brutal recognition, is there not? This very recognition brings a certain pleasure. It gives vitality, a sense of confidence in knowing yourself, the power of knowledge, experiential knowledge. As jealousy, though painful, gave a pleasurable sensation, so now the knowledge of your past gives you a sense of mastery, which is also pleasurable. You have now found a new term for jealousy, for frustration, for being left, and that is hate and the knowledge of it. There is pride in knowing, which is another form of antagonism. We move from one substitution to another, and yet essentially all substitutions are the same, though verbally they may appear to be dissimilar. So you are caught in the net of your own thought, are you not? She quickly replies, yes, but what else can one do? And Krishnamurti, and this is a highlighted portion of the book for me, he writes, or he says to her, don't ask, and this will happen again and again and again if you stick with Krishnamurti's teachings or any of the great spiritual teachings, when they say, let's just observe this. And as soon as you step in and make that observation, the Western mind has been trained to say, okay, now what? What do I do with it? And Krishnamurti says, don't ask what to do with it. Watch the process of your own thinking. Become aware of how cunning and deceptive your own process of thinking actually is. Your own process of thinking promises release and yet it only produces another crisis, another antagonism, etc. This is why when Krishnamurti and David Bohm connected, they were talking the same language, even though one was a physicist and one's a spiritual teacher, because they both came to understand the process of thought in our minds related to our emotions and our knowing of things. The process of thought is false. It's in error. And that's why David Bohm created the phrase sustained incoherence, to point at this problem. You can't think your way out of a problem that's caused by thought. So he says, Krishnamurti says, don't ask what you can do. Simply watch the process of your own thinking. Watch how cunning and deceptive the process of thinking is. Notice, we're not personalizing it. We're not saying how cunning and deceptive you are or a part of you is. It's a process of thought. It's Guy Finley calls it the mechanical level of mind that just keeps churning. So notice how cunning and deceptive it is. Notice how it promises release, and yet it only leads to the next new crisis and the next antagonism. So simply be passively watchful of this and let the truth of it just be. The woman replies, quote, will there be freedom from jealousy, from hate, from this constant suppressed battle? Close quotes. And Krishnamurti, right on target, says, when you are hoping for something, whether it's positively or negatively, you're projecting your own desire. And even if you succeed in achieving your own desire, that's just another substitution, and so the battle is on again. This is why we say to people so often, please just put the words and the emotions and the thoughts on the worksheet process or in whatever tool you choose to use, and let it be what it's going to be. Don't think, oh, I want to pick up EFT tapping and tap until this or this happens. Or I want to do a worksheet and see if I can't release this anger or drop this sadness or get rid of this pain in my heart. Instead, just apply the tool and see what happens. Get that childlike curiosity rolling inside of you, and use whatever tools outside of the logical thought and trying to figure it out. Use the application of a tool to help reveal to you what you can't see in another way, because you will be blinded by your own process of thought if you're going in to figure it out. Krishnamurti goes on, this desire to gain even what you desire or avoid is still in the field of opposites, is it not? See the false as the false, and then the truth just is. You don't have to look for it. Just like the Way of Mastery and Course in Miracles say, you don't have to create love, you don't have to go looking for love. All you need to do is look for, find, and remove, or dismantle, or take your attachment away from all of the blockages to you understanding that this love you're looking for is your true nature. You don't have to look for it. See the false as the false, and then the truth just is what's left. You don't have to look for it. What you see, you will find, but it will not be the truth. When you seek something, what you see is what you will find, but it won't be the truth. It's like a suspicious man finding what he suspects, which is comparatively easy and stupid. Just passively be aware of this total thought process and also of the desire to be free of it. the woman responds with, quote, "All this has been extraordinary and an extraordinary discovery for me, and I'm beginning to see the truth of what you're saying. I hope it won't take more years to go beyond this conflict." Oh, there I am hoping again. I shall silently watch and just see what happens. So please breathe into that. Here's the beginning of Krishnamurti. This is to see the false as the false, to see the false parading as the true, to see the truth for what it actually is. These are lines that come through Krishnamurti's writings over and over again. And they're in alignment with all of the other teachings that say you can't speak the truth, you can't write the truth, you can't think the truth. The truth is just the truth. The truth is just absolute actuality of what is. You can use your intellect to see all of the barriers your intellect has constructed to you being able to live in the present moment with the awareness of your true nature as top-of-mind consciousness. So that's the end of that segment. Just because of how much time we have left for the show today, I'm not going to go on and read more. How is this landing for people? What I had somebody mention to me, I had two people mention that the readings, they think they like them, but they're kind of intense, the Krishnamurti readings. So let me know. How's this landing for you? Is it making sense? Is there part of it you would like to question or have me go back and read again?
Tim?
Yes.
I can't believe how wonderful this reading is. At first I was thinking, okay, I've been found out. The whole deal's off.
How so? I've been found out how? You have your hand in the cookie jar and somebody snapped a picture of it?
I am guilty. I am full of hate. I hate everything. I hate everyone. I remembered Erica Vega and her paper, I Get to Hate.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, I do.
And so I'm lying there thinking, okay, this is the shadow. I own it. I see it. I'm dragging it out. Here it is in all its ugly mess. And we're supposed to be doing this, so this isn't, in a way, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and here I am, and what do I do now? And then you remind us that we are love, and I thought, oh my God, I forgot. And I don't know where the hell all of these chips, I'm going to have to listen to that reading again, because I'm just so, anyway, it's just like being called out, and it's such a relief. It's like having a big boil and somebody just stuck a pin in it.
Yeah, I, you know, when I first read these things back in the 80s, I would have to read and reread and reread just a paragraph, much less a whole section.
Yeah.
And then I would reread it. If I got through the section and it made any kind of sense to me at all, I would just let it sit there for a day or two. And then I would go back and reread it to see if it still made sense or if there was a new sense. And yet the level of questioning without doing, the level of active observation without charging off into a thought structure or a behavior was a radical new thing for me back in the early 80s. I had never imagined that was even possible, let alone a good thing to do. Because my entire life I'd been raised in the Western culture and, you know, just outside Chicago in Northwest Indiana, and raised by people that were just wonderful, loving, active, productive people. And that's what you do. You get up in the morning and you go to school, and you get up in the morning and you go to work, and you come back, and on the weekends you're doing the house chores, and it's always doing. It's always knowing at that intellectual level. And this whole concept of just sit back and watch, I was like, well, what? How do you do that? What are you talking about?
I know, just watch and allow that. and keep watching and allowing, because there's nowhere to go.
And an entirely different set of experiences comes up.
Yeah.
When you don't go anywhere, when you stay in the present moment.
Right. It's very humbling. I was thinking, where in the worksheet, to my mind, the part of the worksheet that says, okay, when have I done this thing that I hate somebody else doing?
Yeah.
And that's always been a rich and good part of the wake-up sheet. The other part is I give up everything. I give up wanting something different. I give up getting anywhere with this wake-up sheet. I give up the goal of wanting somebody to do something or things to be different. I give it all up. It's like you're stripped down to your nothingness. And there's a huge relief in this.
Yes, but now you use the word stripped down to your nothingness.
Yeah.
Right? But what you're really saying is you're stripped down to what's there without all the thoughts covering it up.
Yeah.
It's not that there's nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
It's that it's not something you can touch with your five senses and capture in just a few words, and you can't contain it in thought.
Well, and then a thought, which is not a good thought, but it's the thought that this is the closest I'm ever going to become to being humble. But even giving it, defining myself as humble, because I see all the rot and the hate. And so I can say, well, at least I'm humble. And I think, nope, there you go again. Even that. There's nothing left to do or think. So anyway, what do? We crawl away and go grocery shopping.
Well, we find another in the reading that we just did, that would be called a substitution. Right? And a lot of other people call it a distraction or a numbing out or a drug of choice.
No, I don't mean it as that. You have nothing. You've just got to tend to it's like carrying water and chopping wood.
Right.
You end up being nowhere and nothing with no opinion. You've been found out once and for all, and there's nowhere to go.
Yep. And the challenge is, can you stay there?
Right.
And or just sit with it?
Well, you're forced there, because wherever you go is not the right place anymore.
May I share something? I'm busting.
Okay, what, Celinda?
Susan, for one thing, I want to tell you, I get so delighted when I listen to you. It's like you're the yang of my yin, the underbelly of myself that I'm afraid to let out. And I just delight in your conversations. I just want to share with you. It's like when Dr. Tim laughs. It's that kind of delight. It's not making fun of or anything. It's just so. It's like you put your thumb on the spot, And I wanted to say that what I just flashed on when you said there's nothing. I was thinking, yeah, Celinda, there's no thing, but it has been what's taken away as my delusional cloak, and I'm experiencing raw energy before form. And so thank you for that.
Well, good,
it's like,
work.
Whoa, essence, sweetheart. We're so afraid of essence. I am. We all are.
Well, Celinda, it's because we've been trained to either be afraid of it or focus on something else as valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo, right on.
Yeah, not wanting to think that we have that we have hate, not wanting to go there. We want to see ourselves as good people. We have to take away that everything, just everything. Oh, I hope I can keep it.
And we run from our own power.
Yeah, because we don't even know what it is.
Right.
Because we've been so seduced by the distractions and or threatened. We're either praised or punished. Praised for doing something a certain way, punished for doing something a certain way. And so with both the carrot and the stick, we've been thoroughly conditioned about what's important and what's not.
That's what's so revealing about the power person dynamic, is it doesn't matter whether it's the bully or the victim or the Messiah. What matters is that we give our power away to the other, to the thing, to the object of control. This is amazing. And Dr. Tam, before we leave the program, what's the name or the title of the book that you're reading from, your precious book?
This is
The Second Conversations.
This is a series of books, first, second, and third, and they're called Commentaries on Living by J. Krishnamurti.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And this is the second of the 3 books.
I'm going to write that down right now. Thank you, too, so much. What a delight.
There are lots and lots of Krishnamurti books. This just happens to be the one that I cut my teeth on.
How come you chose this one today, Tim?
Well, because it's the book that introduced me to Krishnamurti that I've, as I said, over the years, it's the book I've read more than any other, with the exception of The Way of Mastery in my life. And so when we finished the last set of readings, I thought, well, I don't know if this group will align with this or resonate with this or appreciate this, because it's pretty heavy stuff at times.
Well,
so I just thought I would try it.
So you just read ahead from where you were. You didn't pick, I want to read about hate today.
No. I'm just reading through the books, Commentaries on Living.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and each of these little segments are, the transcripts of conversations or segments of conversations that Krishnamurti has had with people. And as I mentioned, it was edited by one of Krishnamurti's companions. And these kind of prose, poetic intros have been added in front of each of these segments of transcripts. Because for a lot of years, Krishnamurti would meet with people. He would just open himself to have people come and ask him questions like this and sit in conversation. And he would travel places and sit on a stage and just give a talk. And sometimes dozens, sometimes hundreds of people would be there for these talks. And over the years, somebody said, well, you know what, we got to start collecting this. And that's what the series of Living, Commentaries of Living, Series 1, 2, and 3 came from. If you don't know who Krishnamurti is, it's a fascinating story, and I've alluded to it at times. And in the past on the internet show, I read the writing that Krishnamurti called "Truth is a Pathless Land," and it's the story of how, after years of them grooming him to step up and be the head of a new religious community, and wait for the time when he felt it was safe to tell people that he believed he was the incarnation of Jesus, the reincarnation of Jesus, and he was groomed for all of that. And Krishnamurti knew better. And so on this one particular time, I think it might have been a talk in Ojai, California, he got up in front of the group of people, and it was a fevered pitch around the community. They thought, this is it. And he's called us together, and he's going to announce. And instead, he gives a talk titled, Peace, Truth is a Pathless Land. And it began with the story of a man and the devil walking down the street together, side by side. And the friend of the devil noticed that somebody was walking in front of them and stooped over to the sidewalk and picked something up off the sidewalk that the man didn't recognize. So being a friend of the devil, he asked the devil, hey, did you see what that person just picked up? And the devil said, oh, yes, he picked up a piece of the truth. And the friend of the devil said, oh, my gosh, that's going to be horrible for you, isn't it? And the devil said, no, calm down. I'm going to let him organize it.
Right. Right.
You want to kill truth? Organize it. Decide to label it. Decide that you know what the words are that can describe it and contain it and control it. And now there's no truth left.
Yep.
So, thank you, Susan Bingham. Thank you, Celinda. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you all for being here. We've gone a little past our time, so I will remind us all that we come from love. We're made of the stuff we call love. We actually are love, and everything else is false. And I'll remind you what I've been noticing lately is that each and every time life did not go the way I thought it should, it has always worked out far better than I ever thought it could. Blessings.